Hello, everyone. This is Thursday Night Live. If it's 7:30, if it's Thursday, it is Thursday Night Live with Broken But Not Wasted Ministries. We are coming on a little late. We all had trouble with technology. You know how that works, but we are on. So we have, as we had previously announced, même je nous t'ai annoncé, nous avons gagné ensemble avec nous deux invités qui vont discuter de situation of the current events that is happening, that's happening to our Haitian brothers in Texas. M'pa kwe j'aime te annoncé un bon monde qui pas senti que yo absolument humilié et que dérespecté dans sa nou ka passé kouye sous terre America, OK, côté yo non seulement voyez moun yo aller déporter mais avec un pile reject avec un pile de respectant. So aswaya nous songeons que nous te gagné Bruce Joseph qui te venu sur la plateforme nan, en novembre 2019, il était partagé ensemble avec nos histoires, les pèlerinages, qui route il était fait until he got here to the United States of America from Brazil. So with this current event, we thought that it would be good to bring him back so he can actually share. Parce que now we can put a face, an actual face. Unfortunately, he was not able to join us with his camera. We've had all sorts of trouble to get on tonight, but we are here. So now, Bruce, hopefully we'll bring you on another time where the situation is better with the technology and all that. So Bruce Joseph, dis-nous exactement qui histoire que vous gagnez. What is your story? How you came from South America? Combien pays côté passé jusqu'à ce qu'on arrive aux États-Unis d'Amérique et qui côté yé kounye?
Bonsoir, Pasteur Sarah, et bonsoir, Sister Sandy. Content pour moi, je nous assoya, et m'espère bientôt peut-être dans le studio, parce que je pense quand même, bon Dieu, va le bénir, ministre Pasteur Sarah. Pour gagner en studio, on radio, on fait travail, bon Dieu, ça m'espère, et je souhaite ça en pile. Content, une autre fois, encore, et m'a profité ça, le Sister Gérald, et je supporte pour la communauté. Je pense que même j'avais un peu dans l'autre ami qui dans route la Kounia ni ça qui t'est passé même le avait mais il était quelqu'un qui vient souvent.
I think we've lost Bruce. No, Tani, un petit moment. We're gonna introduce Miss Cindy Dorsonville as Bruce gets back on. Hopefully, greetings to you, Nadine. Good to see you. Okay, now we hear you.
Ok, sorry, continue la connexion. Oui, non pas coupable non, même j'avais un peu l'autre monde, c'était de Saint-Domingue à Colombie parce que c'est comme ça n'était passé pour le Brésil avant. Il n'est pas aussi facile pour le Brésil. Là, il faut pas mener le Chili. Nous sommes sortis Saint-Domingue dans les Colombie. De Colombie, nous avons traversé la frontière Équateur. De l'Équateur, nous avons entré Pérou. Et de Pérou, pour nous entrer au Brésil. Et en même temps, en 2013, en novembre 2013, là, je suis arrivé au Brésil, je recevoir 57 000 immigrants qui étaient sortis à Haïti. Haïtiens seulement, c'est 57, mais tu as Cubain, tu as une autre nation. Mais Haïtiens seulement,
c'est 57 000 immigrants que tu recevoir au Brésil.
Haïtiens seulement. So, si je mettais l'autre, ça était about 100,000. Si je mettais tout l'autre, parce que c'était un pile africain, nous jeunes en pile africain, nous jeunes en pile cubain, nous jeunes tout qui était couru pour misère Venezuela, c'est pas nous mêmes seuls. Son façon tout, parce que ça me passe dans le ministère au cas rappeler un peu le monde ça. Je dis, je pense que c'est tout le monde haïtien, parce que c'est nous-mêmes peut-être sortis dans un pays qui n'a pas de monde pour représenter nous. Ils parlent de nous seulement, mais ce n'est pas seulement nous-mêmes. Il y a un pile africain un pile cubain qui fait route là, un pile monde qui sort de Venezuela et dans toute route là de Brésil à l'autre pays latino qui arrive au Mexique. En pile.
OK.
Et donc, de Brésil, j'ai passé 3 ans, Brésil, à travail. Et de là, je viens rencontrer un pile africain qui a une famille qui te fait route là, qui te parlé non de route là. Donc, c'est africain qui te avisé haïtien de route là. Haïtien pas de connaître. Haïtien pas de connaître. Et il t'a expliqué nous que route là, là tellement longtemps, c'est parce qu'on a une guerre dans le pays en Afrique. Et puis, ils ont barré au asile, ils ont passé, mais personne ne connaît sur les aux États-Unis, ils ont expliqué nous comment ils ont venu. Donc, là, nous connaissons nous-mêmes. Et puis, nous faisons route là. Mais auparavant, là, on fait route là, moi-même, dans l'époque, nous, on supposé faire sous nom africain. Donc, depuis le Brésil, nous faisons document illégal africain pour nous passer dans toute route là comme africain parce que des bouteilles du haïtien et où il veut Colombie, où il veut Panama, où il veut Mexique, il a déporté au Haïti. Parce que c'était africain seulement, il a accepté de passer avec Cubain. Dans l'époque ça.
OK. So tout papier nous t'est fait sous nom africain pour nous t'être capable de passer
sous nom africain.
Pays que nous passons. So, combien de temps on t'a fait exactement en route, Bruce, pendant que vous t'avez sorti au Brésil pour venir aux États-Unis?
Malheureusement, moi-même, moi passé 8 mois dans la route là. 8 mois. Donc, c'est ça qui fait me passer, me comprendre route là et faire un peu l'expérience là-dedans. Beaucoup plus que même mon qui là-dedans qu'on y a parce que son route, mon fait dans 2 mois, il t'a supposé, sur un mois en amont. Mais moi-même, faute moyen, te permettre de faire 8 mois là-dedans. Et à tel an, c'est là, m'te commencé route là. Moi, j'ai des amis m'te quitté dans le travail qui m'te dit on allait. Yo gen temps passé, yo arrivé, yo gen temps travail aux États-Unis, moi m'boko.
So, ça veut dire, l'on dit il faut un moyen pour faire route là. Ça veut dire.
OK, tant qu'on est capable de faire un sponsor. Tant que si on a fait route là, on obligé une famille qui a supporté parce que chaque côté arrivé, on a besoin d'un petit moyen pour traverser parce que c'est clandestin lié. Et faut qu'on oblige à payer passage chaque côté arrivé. Ou payer un monde pour traverser, payer chaque côté arrivé. Donc, moi-même, l'homme j'ai commencé route là, j'ai besoin de $200 seulement pour me sortir Costa Rica pour mal Nicaragua parce que c'est là bloqué. Parce que par contre, pour commencer, pour sortir Brésil, donc on retourne Pérou, de Pérou, on retourne Équateur, mais toute frontière ça c'est frontière terrestre. Équateur, on entre Colombie. Bon, de Colombie, on dilemme là parce que Colombie, c'est la mer qui sépare Colombie avec Panama. Donc, on voit la mer. Donc, c'est là, il y a plein de monde qui était choqué dans l'époque comme parce que voyage là, t'es clandestin, l'État pas d'accord. Donc, nan pour un petit camp note qui pas même qu'à supporter poids. Yo, là, j'ai pourtant pile monde nan yo, c'est grand pile monde malheureusement qui te qu'on perdu vie yo dans époque pam. Et Livin a aménagé, passé 2 ans après, là, tout le monde continue à faire, yo, mon a mouru, et puis yo même, yo vient chercher l'autre, et comment, le camp note ou bien chaloupe, qui plus ou moins, qu'a traversé mon yo, parce que son gros la mer, et pour yo te vini. Il y a deux monde tous les au Brésil, qui passaient par un côté que les Manaus, qui collent avec Venezuela, dans une zone qui est le Laetitia. De là, ils ont entré Pérou, pour yo retourner back Équateur, et pour entrer Colombie, de Colombie pour traverser de l'eau ça pour entrer Panama. Donc, dans l'époque, le fait que peut côté comme si qui était fait route là, c'est laisse alter plus dangereux parce que c'est l'époque ça où tu condamné monde dit qu'il y a bête qui attaque monde et il y a monde qui mourir dans route là parce que c'est arrivé. C'est pas une route qui était tracée, c'est dans forêt on passer, ou par contre pays ya. Et au pas monde qui te fait route là qui te pour ça veut dire c'est nous même qui rentrer qu'on on enragé traverser de l'eau monter monde donc majorité monde qui te mourir dans l'époque maintenant c'est pas animal seulement qui t'attaquer mon et là rentrer dans forêt on fait un mois manger qui n'a mon fini grand peu monde qui asthmatique grand peu monde qui est malade depuis Brésil qui a un problème cœur donc là ça veut pas qu'à manger quoi pas kembe gen nan qui mourir gen nan moun tout qui te mourir c'est indignation c'est famille yo qui dit yo arrivé aux États-Unis mais yo pas de pas explication Jean route là en vrai parce que yo t'explique que bagay la t'a facile et malheureusement les arrivé yo ça a subi grand pile là qui dans l'université Haïti grand pile là qui l'école grand pile là qui fait business tout mais yo t'es venir aux États-Unis parce que moun yo t'explique yo que route là facile Le ap soufri, gen yo ki kon perdre espoir nan route la, yo mouri. Gen moun tou, fi ki kon ancien qui kon mouri, c'est Mario kon ale kite yo, pitit yo kon ale kite yo, gen de moun ki avec famille yo ale kite yo, so le moun nan vin pa ka marcher fatigué, tako moun ki, gen nan moun yo ki kon gen on gros par exemple, personne pa vle rete avec yo. Moi-même connais dans pile, mais malheureusement pas ka aider tout le monde. Donc, les personnes pa vle rete avec yo, yo et nan agi pour quoi yo. Donc, yo vin pa gen manger, pas gen de l'eau, pas gen rien. Et puis, c'est ça qu'il faut qu'on donne, yo dit bête manger.
So, bon, posons a question right there, Bruce. And I'm going to introduce Miss Dorsonville in a minute. And you can, after I introduce her, she'll tell you guys a little bit more about herself. Like I said, she loves the Haitian community. She's been serving for so many
Mhm,
years. And she's more than welcome to jump in also. So,
mhm.
Miss Sandy Dorsonville is actually the director of the Cultural Art Haitian Complex in Little Haiti,
Oh,
and
really?
she
Yeah, I've been there.
yes. So, Bruce, let me ask you something. As a young man, you said that was back in 2013. You worked, you spent 3 years in Brazil, and from there you decided to come over under African passport because at that time only Africans were allowed to cross over to make that journey. And when you see all these people dying, you see pregnant women who are left behind, you see people who are a little bit weak left behind, not having enough food, na forêt pour yo manger. So, as a young person, what is going through your mind? And talk to us about your parents. How did you get there? How did you get to that point? Let's back up a
Um,
little bit.
all right. So backing up a little bit, since I was leaving Haiti in 2013, my mom is a Christian, first of all, and my dad too. We believed in prayer, and she always told me that anywhere I'm going, I have to put my faith in the Almighty God, and whenever I feel like I'm weak or I feel lonely, I feel some type of way that I want to quit. So I have to pray, and she always teaching us about for you to get what you really want in life, it's always gonna be a fight, and that fight you won't be able to make it alone. So you will, of course, need God's wills and the support in for you to make it happen. So when those kind of stuff first happening to me, the first reflection was thinking about my mom back in Haiti, that
Mm-hmm.
waking up every morning praying for us because we grew up in it, and it was like a dark place for us. Growing up in a place where for you to feeding yourself it's an issue, to go to school. So it's always something going on. We always need. So I grew up like it's for me a habit that going through uh, um the storm.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way life hated me when I was making that journey, it was a little bit different than anybody else because I had that in mind that nothing is going to be easy for me because the only person I believe that always gonna be there for me is God. Because
Mm-hmm.
we grew up where
Mm-hmm.
we always in need, nobody showed up for us, so
Mm-hmm.
we always have to find the solution in our own.
Yeah.
And going to Brazil, going to Brazil was like that. So I had the Dominican visa. For me to cross the Dominican border, like the Haitian Dominican border, I needed only 20 bucks US. I couldn't get it. So a friend saw me asking, like begging everyone, telling them that I have a trip from Dominican Republic to Colombia. So if I don't get to Santiago today, I will lose my trip. And somebody helped me. So I grew up in a situation where I always needed somebody to help me cross.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For
So
$12, you almost did not make the trip to
yes, yes,
Colombia. Now
yes.
let Miss Cindy Dorsonville jump in right now. Cindy, thank you so much for gracing Broken But Not Wasted platform with your beautiful self, with your beautiful presence. And I do truly appreciate you coming on the team, the production team of Thursday Night Live. Thank you so much for coming on. Tell us about yourself. We already know that Cindy Dorsonville is a very well known figure person in the community, in the Haitian community. You've done so much to help and work with the community. So tell us again, I apologize this tonight because of the technology. So please tell us about yourself, Cindy, before you actually get into that topic tonight that we're discussing, how Haitians' basic human rights were totally violated these past few days, as we've all seen it flooded, with images from social media. Cindy, introduce yourself, please.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Pastor Sarah, for having me on the show. And Bruce, just listening to your story is so amazing. We always talk about how strong Haitian people are, and people love to talk about how resilient they are. And sometimes, I think we take that people take that resilience for granted, and they put us through so much because they know we can survive it. But when I listen to Bruce, and he's not even done with his story, I'm so moved, and it makes me realize what I do is not in the big scale of life, and in God's big plan, is so minor. Because really, what I've chosen to do with my life, and what God has blessed me to do with my life, is to highlight people like Bruce and the stories and the experience that he had. A lot of our history as Haitian people, a lot of our courage, you see it in experiences like Bruce's, that he basically decided that he was going to make in his life. He decided that God was going to accompany him through this journey. And then he put his foot forward and he persevered. And now he's surviving and he's thriving um outside of his mother country. And for those people who know me, I'm basically a culture curator. I meet people like Bruce, I meet people like Pastor Sarah. I find out what beautiful things that they're doing, and then I highlight them in the community, and I talk about them, and I present to the world. And sometimes it's history, sometimes it's music, sometimes it's art. But I've really been blessed with that being a job. Actually, this is my job, to promote Haitian culture, art, and people. So I really don't want to talk. I really want Bruce to finish telling us about
No,
because
And
I know.
she is so modest. You've done such a wonderful job in the community, Cindy. I have Nadine, my colleague, who's always talking about you, what
I,
events
I
you are holding in the community, and how well you are managing what the Lord has entrusted you with. So kudos to you, Cindy. And you're a very simple person. And let me tell you that as you think it might be minor, right? But don't think it as this, because if you can help one person, only one person, you know
hmm
that you could have made a difference in the world. So you
in the
are
world.
doing a great work,
thank
Cindy.
thank
So thank you again. She doesn't want to talk about herself.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
again for
much.
being here. So Bruce, let's get back, or Cindy, if you want to ask him a question, you may also ask him. Bruce, let's get back to your story. What would you say to people qui sont capables de dire moun qui dit comme ça, why didn't these Haitians stay where they were? They were thriving, they were working in Chile and Colombia or wherever in Brazil. So why did they want to take that unknown, that journey
Uh-huh.
that they did not? Ki so ka di avek moun kap panse ki sa? Parce que m'tande
Okay.
plusieurs commentaires qui fait comme ça. Pour qui ça yo pas traite
Yeah.
Chili, yo te fin établi yo Chili, pour qui ça yo pas traite yo vin bor ici, et puis kounya vin fait moun. What do you say to people who
I
are
have I will try to answer this question. This is a great question because I heard so many people and having comments, some of good comments, some bad comments too about the situation. But I'm gonna try to open it both ways. In Brazil and Chile, Haitian
Mhm.
people like us that left behind so many people, and we have so many responsibilities. So we always like thinking about going where we can having not only for ourselves but supporting our family. So let's say I went to Brazil on my own and I didn't have any family. All my family was already in the States. I should have stayed in Brazil because Brazil is one of the most beautiful spots to stay and it's a great country. But on that note, you don't have that much responsibility. You don't have people in needs. You don't have nothing because the salary in Brazil, you can survive with it. And if you go to school in Brazil, you can live on your own and be waiting for yourself. But as people know that Haitian people, so when people traveling from Haiti to Brazil, you live behind your mom, your dad, your brothers and sisters, and sometimes most of the people that went to Brazil, they are the only one left the country to go seek a better life. So most of the time, people sold the land so they can pay the trip for that person. Most of the time, many families collect their money so they can send you there. Most of the time, brothers and sisters join it together and they say, "Let's do this for you." And you, when you go there, it's not only you. So it's you over there, but you're gonna have to work for everybody that's supporting you. That's the
Mm-hmm.
thing. So the
Mm-hmm.
chilling stuff. So if somebody got their families already in the States or in Canada, all their families are doing good in Haiti, you can go there, go to school, and having a great life because they are two beautiful countries. So you can live a peaceful life over there. So feeding yourself, going to the hospital, and in Brazil, they they treating people much better than the States. When you go to Brazil, of course you're gonna be legal. Of course you're gonna have not only your documentation but pass for food and medical. And in the States, this is one of the most expensive things. It's medical. But in Brazil, when you're an immigrant, they cover your medical issues. Whatever you get, the government pay for it.
So,
So
if I understand correctly, when one
yeah,
person travels, le on haïtien parti quitter pays, hein,
parti
il pas
aller
juste
al Brazil.
parti quitter, il pas juste parti pour tête pâle. He
Ou
does
pas
just
parti pour
not
tête ou.
leave the country for his own self, but there's like an invisible slew of
Yes, yes,
people, of family
yes, yes,
members, little nieces,
yes.
cousins, ma tante,
Tout le monde
maman,
compte sur
papa,
nous,
qui
on pas qu'à dormir.
accompagne moun sa, and therefore they feel obligated to
Yes,
not
yes,
only work for themselves to
yes,
establish themselves,
yes,
but also to care for the
yes,
family members that
yes.
they have left behind. Is
I've
that what
left
you're
behind.
saying? So,
Yes,
tout le
and
monde
some
a
of them
dit,
used to go back. Yes, ok, mta pal bon ti eksplikasyon.
mhm,
Parfois, gen moun yo ki kon telman santi responsabilite an pil, e moun ki Haiti a li men li pa kompren sa wap, like what you going through, gen moun ki kon dekouaje yo retounen bak Haiti. Gen moun tou ki kon nivou mouman person patan de ki sa yo fe. So, nan optik sa, le moun nan Brazil ou bien Chili, se pa ke li pat karete Chili ou bien ret Brazil, men men moun ki mandel pou ret Chili ou pou ret Brazil la, li konte sou li kote li ya. E yon moun kap travay chi ou Brazil, ou ka supporte tèt ou sou te gen prop tèt ou, bien sou a madame ou ka supporte madame ou, sou avek fam ou ka supporte fam ou ki avon au Brazil. Men pou fè kob nan ni pou voye kob Haiti, like sending money to Haiti every month to supporting your family, you're not gonna be able to make that much. As long as you're a professional, like let's say highly educated people, you have a great job over there and you invest, that's something else. But to to take those steps in Brazil, your family won't have that much patience to let you doing all that.
mhm,
Se tout moun ki al Brésil, kal Chili yo souvan, se de moun yo ki l'ekol, se de moun yo ki profesyon, donc konen son lot adaptasyon, on lot lang, on lot peyi, de le pou gen tan gen legal status, pou gen papyo tout bagay, so ou gen tan gen 2-3 kap ekoule wap fè travay ou pate menm pansi. So, a job is a job, so that's not the case, but the case is, pandan ou te ka pansi pou al l'ekol lan ou bien pou al etudye tout bagay, moun ki te do pati yo gen tan ap meto chou, pasi yo konte sou, la ka e pa bon.
mhm.
So instead of blaming those people, au lieu que moi-même moi pour diaboliser mon qui Brésil qui pas arrêté ou bien mon qui Chili, m'a diaboliser peut-être dirigeant yo pendant Brésil, Chili, qui pas aidé parents yo qui pas jeune on job. Parce que personne pas get job dans le pays. So, let's say we're here, we still have the same responsibility like those people that was in Brazil and Chile or in Canada and anywhere. Like I think for us Haitian people, most of the time people think we are living full life here or we good, but we're thinking about those people that have those kind of mindset. So n'a pas ça moun sa yo qui pense que nous mêmes nous aller ici pendant que nous pas dormir raison pays côté yo ya que nous mêmes nous sortir ya pas jamais créer une stabilité pour le travail, pas jamais créer la sécurité pour gain changement dans pays ya and then manger toujours plus cher. That mean les gens qui Brésil il y a des gens qui gagnent 4 5 fois, c'est celle qui est partie au Brésil. Là. So, le temps des États-Unis qui a fait plus comme Canada qui a fait plus comme. Depuis le
Right.
ça, ça parlait.
So, Bruce, there is a question for you, but before I even ask you the question that's on the screen, so now take us to the time when you actually touched U.S. soil. What happened? Nan ki frontière côté André? Est-ce que c'est même frontière Texas là ou bien son l'autre côté touché US soil? And what happened from there when you finally reached l'or fin arrivé aux États-Unis après 8 mois de voyage? What happened?
M'vle foti back, it's gonna take 1 minute pour moun yo pas fin focus sur moun yo qui dans frontière Texas ou bien qui Tijuana. Moi-même, moi, t'ai passé Tijuana, Mexico, qui colle avec San Diego, California. On tire appel m'a fait pour moun yo, moun qui Texas yo. C'est pas eux qui vraiment souffrir. Moun qui souffrir c'est moun qui côté yeux pas ouais yo. Qui en dans forêt qui Panama, qui dans ragé à Colombie côté caméra pas jamais ouais yo. Personne pas jamais connaît ça yo manger les yo mourir les yo pas mourir. So, yon moun qui gen chance li rive Texas ou bien li rive Cali en Tijuana, Mexico. Moun sa yo souffri, nous prions pour yo, ça fait mal, mais moi-même qui te route là, qui passe route là, c'est pas moun sa yo mourir pour yo, parce que moun sa yo gen à côté, yon ka aider l'autre, yon ka l'autre, yo pote manger pour yo. Moi-même, I'm worrying right now about the 20,000 people that are in Colombia, about the 1,500 that are in Peru. Yo qui pral gon grand là, mais pour yo traverser comme par contre combien cap vivant, combien cap mourir. C'est moun sa yo qui intéresse. Moun qui intéresse, c'est moun qui est qu'on y a là qui Honduras, qui Guatemala, parce que pas oublier c'est 10 pays. So Mexico and US, c'est dernier pays. You understand? But you got 9 countries that people. Okay, pense ça, si moun sa arrive dans frontière Mexique et côté APD yo souffri comme ça. Et moun yo qui et l'autre 9 pays yo te passé côté personne pas jamais ka aider yo ni ouais yo, ni tande yo. Gen un petit bébé yo violé là dans route ça. Gen fille yo violé ni yo ni mari yo. Ça veut dire yo violé ni garçon ni fille. But the states never gonna talk about that. They're not gonna put that on news. But people are being abused. Those young ladies, young men that crossing those borders coming to America.
And sometimes yes,
it's very abusive. It's very abusive. So, gen de moun y a pas abusé là, nan route là. Nan penwa sa la, ou pa konnen. C'est si yo vle témoigner, yo ka tout ça. Gen de moun qui kon vini ici, yo fait petit ici, yo pa jamais kon papa ti moun. Gen de maman qui quitte petit yo pa jamais kon ti moun sa encore. Gen de mari qui quitte madame yo pa jamais. Donc c'est un bagay qui inhumain que nous obligé faire. Malgré tout le monde pourquoi j'aime considérer yo pas comprendre ni. Moun qui Texas yo 13,000 moun sa yo, m'ka di for now they safe and sound from what they going through already. Because they have been through the worst. Right now, si ça a souffri là, il y a passé bagay qui 2 fois, 3 fois plus mal que ça. OK?
Wow.
Parce que pour sortir Panama, jusqu'à ce qu'on arrive à Panama City pour ta récision en bus pour entrer Costa Rica, bien que dans l'époque, pas c'était plus difficile, ça veut dire, là, on monte avec un pays, it's not a city. Imagine me, you traveling like from Florida to Georgia. You see how long it is? It's 7 hours or 8 hours. Guess if you're doing that walk, just Florida to Georgia, walking. Not on I-95 where people can see you, but you're going to walk by Savannah, you're going to walk in the middle of the rivers and everything. So moun sa yo traverse un petit peu de l'eau, en dans Panama pour yo vin là, Yo traverse en pile forêt côté pour yo vinn là et c'est côté ça yo caméra pas arrivé. So le moun alte ça soit faire vidéo ou al faire photo moun ça yo pense c'est là yo surpris. Moi-même qui te kon route là, moi-même ça pas rien côté yo Texas ça parce que yo un côté que le monde a regardé yo connaît. But
Right.
pense
Okay. Um, Miss Cindy, what do you say to that? Because he brought a point that maybe we did not see,
yeah,
because he went through that journey. Et qu'on a dit comme ça que ça n'a pas ouais, yo image que projeté par nous, those images that are being projected on social media everywhere, these are nothing compared to what these people are going through as
yeah,
they go
yeah,
through those 9 and 10 countries for reaching the
Mhm.
United States, which is and Mexico, which is the last stops.
the
What
last
do you say to that? What went through your mind as a community um, um, helper who's spent her life working helping our Haitian community? When you saw these things, those images, what went through your mind when you see that? Although Bruce is saying is not nothing compared to what is actually going na for real. What tell us a little bit? Jump in, please, Miss Dorsonville.
I mean, as he was talking, exactly what he was saying was what was going through my mind the first time I saw those images. Because exactly what he said, that those are the people who we see, those are the people who made it. And the images to me, as a person who taught history and social studies, immediately are remind me of slavery, immediately remind me of the Underground Railroad, immediately remind of slaves trying to cross from the south to the north during the civil revolution. It didn't so I'm not surprised at what he's saying. I think when he says it though, it reinforces my belief that people who are sitting behind these screens and on television and making comments online about what they think the mindset of these human beings are who are taking this treacherous road, they have no idea. Because you're put yourself through that much turmoil and abuse to get to what you think is going to be a place where you can improve your life and the life of your family. You have to be a strong person, and you're not going to do this just so you can eat McDonald's. You're doing this for survival, so your family can survive. And it breaks my heart because I wonder how people in the Haitian government feel when they hear their citizens say these things. That I left my mother, I left my father, my sister, my brother to go through this abuse just so I can go work someplace else and take care of them at home because you, Mr. Government official in Haiti, are not doing what you're supposed to do to help me and my family thrive in the country where I was born, in the country that liberated it all around the world. And then that same country, their people are running away like slaves to other countries to be mistreated because they cannot live comfortably in their home. It breaks my soul. It
Mm-hmm.
so badly. And that's why as I look at people, this is definitely a humanitarian crisis because
Mm-hmm.
people are moving, are putting themselves through this trial and tribulation because they cannot survive as human beings where they are.
And exactly, that's exactly correct. Who in their right mind who in their right mind would live a comfortable place where you can eat, sleep, take care of yourself, take care of your children, feed your children, have a roof over your head? Who in their right mind would endanger their very lives?
Yeah.
And Bruce said that some people, when they get to a place, he said, talking to me earlier, he said they would just, at some point in time in the journey, they would just sit there and they would be like, Ajay. They shake their heads and they throw themselves off the cliff
yeah,
of the mountain, or they would jump in the water because they can't take it
yeah,
anymore. They snap. Who in their
yeah.
right
And the mouth,
mind would actually put themselves through that if your own country could take care of yourself? Nobody.
yeah, And the
And
other
these
situation that
the very welcome that these people got. Yes, I understand, Bruce, what you're saying about what they went through during the journey, but on American soil, the very welcome that they got was unacceptable, totally
yeah, yeah, it's totally
unacceptable.
unacceptable. And this starts, um let's say, there's 5 countries they crossed. They have so many issues going on with thieves, so that's why they have the abuses too. Le a pase nan se de peyi kote gampil vole kap fouye yo, thieves, stealing the stuff, stealing their money because they saw so many people crossing, paying people to cross through. Parce que ou oblige payer yon moun ki rakete ki pou traverse son se de kote. Vole al tan nou yo fouyo. Et c'est là tout dans la sa yo abusé mesdames yo en pile tout, qui vraiment fait mal. Et les yon fuit avec un petit moun nan bral, yon moun a pas abusé le devant petit moun nan, so petit moun sa a grandi, so avec un trauma, avec un histoire qu'elle va jamais vivre. So moi pense moi-même dans bon femme comme l'homme de fait ou m'te comme son garçon bien de jeune, bien de bagaille qui pas trivé, m'ka dit bon Dieu merci, mais moi-même like in my own knowledge, I believe so many people gonna be living in the states, even they got millions, even they got everything. Only God can make them happy because of what they went through in life. Because they
Hmm.
always gonna have something to remember what happened.
Hmm.
Their kids, the people that they had to lay down with so they can get some money to come here, people that beating them, the people that abuses them, and sometimes not only one person, and sometimes they going through so much stuff. I think as a step they come here, the U.S. should have putting so many people like social workers, psychologists, people to supporting them, but not treating them like that the way they're doing it right now. Parce que ça, moun sa ou dans ce passé, les auteurs viennent dans frontière ça, Américains ont supposé protéger les people ça. OK? So, parce que le monde qui sont passé tout en péripétie ça, même si ça va pas recevoir, voilà, donc on comprend qu'ils sont tous dans l'esprit. OK? So, je pense que tu as fait ça, on accueille. Le Brésil, je pense qu'on accueille, même les autres pour recevoir, but at least, une façon qui permet tout ça, tout ce monde, ou pas décourager à la vie, à rien, ou pas regretter côté fini. Brésilien, on recevoir mon très bien. Chile, tout recevoir mon bien. So imagine 57 immigrants was in Brazil, ou pas, j'aimerais ça dans la télévision, côté Brésil a maltraité le monde, Brésil a poussé le monde, non. You never saw that. But 13,000, yo arrivé là, un gagnant qui dans route, so le monde ça yo qui fait arriver là, qui fatigué, qui grand, they hungry, tired, already loses their hope. So, and then you give them that kind of treatment. So, if Haitian people wasn't that strong-minded people, God bless us with that, they should have committed suicide. So, not everyone can endure that much struggle in life because after
Is an
2 months,
apology in place? Is an apology
yes,
in order?
yes, yes. Parce que mon sa yo te mérité là, yo te vin là pour yo au moins l'expliquer pour faire. Moi-même, après 5 ans, même côté moi, imagine si comme d'après vivre comme pas à l'aise. Pas de pas mal travail. Parce que
Now,
comme
I
ça,
understand
c'est
what you're saying, Bruce, and thank you so much for sharing your story, for not being ashamed of sharing what you've gone through, what you went through during that journey from Santo Domingo, from the Dominican Republic to Colombia, then to Brazil, then from Brazil coming to America. Thank you so much for sharing. So, someone is asking if what you're saying is right. The way what people have gone through, those images are mild. Yes, that's correct. That's exactly what he's saying. Someone is asking why the USA? Why not Canada or somewhere else? Um, why choose the USA?
no, but the thing is, the map from the map you can see it. To go to Canada, like in 2016, Canada opened for to receive as much as they could. But to go to Canada, you have to cross the U.S. anyway, because the Canadian borders they are close to the US because you know Mexico, US, and Canada, those three countries for the one I can say the trilogy or something. C'est son triangle là, c'est Mexique, États-Unis, Canada. So pour le Canada, faut passer États-Unis anyway.
Mhm.
En 2016, l'aime devini. En 2016, là nous t'es rentré, Canada te dit yo met vini. So te gan peu monde qui te quitté États-Unis qu'al Canada, là ça te gen déportation tout. Et puis un
Mhm.
peu le monde dans le Canada au lieu de déporter yo. But
Mhm.
imaginez qu'on y a yo c'est Mexique en bas pour yo so yo en peu là au côté USA. Et
Mhm.
Canada pas ouvert. So, lò
Mhm.
sorti Brésil, ou pa gen l'autre pays qu'on kal la dan encore qui collé ensemble avec États-Unis. Parce que là, c'est l'an qui deux bords. So, de Brésil, ou passe. So, moun sa yo sorti South America, they cross Central America and North America. So, I can literally say it's like three continents. And
Yes.
one continent
Right.
like divided in three. Like, so moun sa yo gen on just héroïque. Moi-même, moi
Mhm.
pense c'est pas moun yo pour personne diaboliser qui font choix yo marche à pied pour venir là. Ça pour moun comprendre c'est que yon moun qui pas gen volonté pour moun dans la vie pour des moun pour ka supporter famille ou bien par contre ce côté sorti ko son carrément on pas faire. So moi-même moi pour geste moun sa yo pour montrer que haïtien veut vivre. Non
Et
juste
c'est
pas qu'à vivre là.
héroïque. Son geste héroïque que yo fait parce que yo
Exactement.
pas tenu compte de la vie, yo mettez
Exactement.
en
Exactement.
pour capable sauver
Exactement. And
la vie
one thing
individuelle, la
about
vie
Haitian
famille.
people, one thing I love about my people, one thing I love, we don't have that much. Haitian people that live in Haiti or all those people that are crossing those borders, they don't have that much. Haitian people, as long as they can feel comfortable somewhere, living the life, they can support the family, that's it. So I can't believe why we can have a kind of politics with the US where we can walk in our own country or people that are already there can one day going back and give back what they get from the US.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
they do it in one right now. You see
Mhm.
how beautiful this country right now because people are one from one that went across the world. Their president called them back and they give the support. I believe in the Haitian community, Haitian American community, like you, Pastor Sarah, um, Mrs. Handy, like so many people that I know. They are people that willing to give themselves to save Haiti, but they never called us on anything.
Mhm.
We're sitting there. We don't even have our own bank in the U.S. We're the only country that have that much population in the U.S. that we don't have our own bank from Haiti from here. So
Mhm.
we can develop anything like connect from the US or Canada to Haiti. Nou pa gen bank development ki Etats-Unis kote ke si ma vive Etats-Unis, ma bouike isi. So mwen ka investi la kay mwen, lem bezon retrete m kal la kay mwen. So nou pa men ban nou dwa pou retrete nan peyi.
Mhm.
It's always going on. It's always something pushes us like to leave the country. So right now, when those people doing that, that when those people doing those kind of stuff, crossing borders to come here, they should have there. They should have gone for anything. Gen moun ki ka endomaje, ou apre anpil moun yo ki a beki, right? Piye yo endomaje nan traverse la rivye. Gen ti moun ki ale nan to
Mhm.
there's kids that lose their life in that water. Because maman kon pa ka supporte ti moun nan. Paske li menm tou li feb, moun kape de la gemel, epi ti moun nan gen tal nan dwa pa gen person ki pa sove. So, mpense ta suppose gen yon disposition ki pran nan kominote ya pou gen de moun ki fe yon e mpaka diyon de vu, men fè yon bagay pou ka ale nan zon yo pou pran imaj ou bien pou ka like so people can understand like the
So
trajectory.
there's more to this. There's more to this than just the what you were saying. There is the backdrop. There is comme si des vidéos a plus que ça. So le
Yes,
Texas ou
yes.
bien Californien, c'est là où arrivé sous scène, c'est là ça nous yo même pas get plus des vidéos que ça. So now Miss Cindy, I'd like you to jump in because we've been on for about 4 minutes or so, and we're gonna wrap up and take a couple of questions. So what are we doing now, Miss Cindy? What can we do now with this situation?
A
What
lot of people want to help and can help. People instantly want to, send clothes, send food. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to get materials to these people. We're asking people to do three different things. First thing is we want to put pressure on the federal government, on the Biden administration, on our local people to stop deportation for whatever. No one should be getting on a plane in the United States and heading back to Haiti. So any statement, right, an email, a Twitter, a post, a DM, anything you can do to contact an elected official where we're asking you to do that, because each letter counts, each letter helps, because that's one more thing that the with to discourage the federal government from doing any deportation. And I had several people, nurses from the Nurses Association, several elected officials from South Florida have gone to Texas, and it's working. They, after that first week of people that were patriots sent back to Haiti, they have sent more. So we feel like the pressure is working, but it's not enough for them to only stop deportation. What we also need for all of these people to be put on a path to citizenship, to residency. What happens if you are not processed? They just put you in limbo. If an opportunity arises for you to get TPS, for you to apply for asylum, to apply for residency, what you do not exist in the country if they do not. So right now we are pushing for people to write statements to all of their kids, whoever, just pick, but your congressman, the best for your area, asking all participants and processing system so that every single one of the people, once they arrive, they are ready. Meaning we know they exist. We have a name, number of some sort, so that they exist in the United States. Because once you exist, you have the right to apply for asylum. That takes 3, sometimes 5 years. So that's going to give that person time. But if they are not processed, they're sent to a detention place, or worse, they're sent back, you know, back to la perdue. So we're asking for that. That's first.
Okay. Okay, great.
People, and so many organizations are collecting money to help Haitians. We're collecting to take. They've been collecting now to Texas. I am asking people to really the Bridge Alliance, because they are the group. Her name is Gerline Joseph, who has been working with these migrants for a year, recently, trying to help arrive into the U.S. and then finally process them, giving plane tickets and bus tickets so they can get to their families, different parts of the United States. So I'm asking people to go on that website, to donate there, because they do need money, because a lot of these people, they're struggling in the United States, so they don't have the $800, $900 sometimes it costs to fly from Texas or wherever that refugee is to where they are, or to Boston and New York. So we're asking people that. And then finally, and most important, people who are in major cities that have large communities, like Miami, Boston, Atlanta, Chicago, even Canada, to set up, to work with your social service agencies, to set up places to receive these people. I'm sure Bruce will say, when you get where you're going, you need someone to help you, to receive you.
Yes, definitely.
Give you a lawyer, help you get a lawyer, help you find food, help you find your. Not all of these people have cell phones.
I was about to ask you that question.
Yes.
Like Pastor Sarah and Mrs. Cindy, I don't know what can we do, since we have that much Haitian American leaders in the community, to have I can say organization or some kind of a group of people that willing to putting together when those people coming, so we can direct them to the right. With so many of them, they came but because they didn't have the assistance they needed when they went to court, they still deporting them because they didn't have the support. So if somebody doesn't have a family that could give them the support, can we have like nou ka fon an bureau pour immigrant au kote gen de moun ki vle voluntary, ki vle supporte. Just do something. Not money, not, because you can have the money, you can have
I
everything,
think
but
that's what Miss Cindy was
Yeah.
saying as when
my
they're
brother
putting
got
pressure.
deported in 2019. I brought my brother here in 2019. He crossed the Texas border where those people right now, and he got deported because I didn't know what to do when they catch him, and then he was still in detention for 3 months, and then they sent him to Haiti. So my brother right now is in Dominican Republic.
Okay, so what you're saying is, Bruce, I'm gonna ask you to mute your mic a little bit when you're not speaking because I think it's causing some feedback. So what you're saying is when they come and they are in custody, and they call a family member like you, your brother called you, but you didn't know who to call in order to get him out of the detention center, so he could be processed. I think that's what he's
Yes,
asking,
yes, yes.
Miss Cindy.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
So there are
Okay,
agencies here.
so please mute, Bruce.
So here in Miami, in South Florida, there's Sutla Neighborhood Center, Fama Isiana Miami, Catholic Legal Charities. These are the three organizations that I can just say off the top of my head that I know will help anyone who walks through their door who says, my name is so and so, I'm from so and so, and I need help to get my papers. I'm not saying they'll be able to solve all your problems, but they know who to talk to help you solve your problems. And there are also some financial assistance that they can provide to help you solve some of those issues. And that's why I beg people, if you're an attorney, volunteer a few hours in some of these organizations because they do need lawyers to help. If you're a social worker, a mental health practitioner, a lot of these people need counseling and they just need someone to talk to because, you know, when you go through that much trauma, you just need to vocalize it sometimes. So we're asking Haitian Americans, because you speak Creole, if you're a professional in these realms, to volunteer and to participate. And call Santla Neighborhood Center, Fama Haitienne Miami, which is also known as Family Action Network, um, and to call the Catholic Charities, Catholic Legal Services and Catholic Charities, or even Notre Dame Catholic Church. They have a whole social service network. To call these places if you want to volunteer, and they will let you know how they can use your services because they definitely can use all of our help. And if you cannot do these things, you're working 5 jobs, 3 jobs, like many Haitians are, and you can only donate $20, $5, you can do that too. And that also will be appreciated. So people can help. It is every Haitian American's responsibility who has been blessed enough to not have to go through what Bruce went through to get here to the United States. It is our responsibility to help our fellow Haitians who are looking for the same opportunity that we are currently enjoying. It is our moral
Absolutely.
obligation. It is our political obligation. And really, honestly, it is for our own survival. If you do it for no other reason than selfish reasons, then do it, because if you don't help them, trust me, things go full circle. When you need help, you will not have help as well. So
Well
if there's
said.
no reason, do it for that reason. If you're not going to do it for the moral reason, because it's the Christian thing to do, because it's the correct thing to do, then just do it for that reason. Because
Mhm.
out of fear of God, that if you do not help someone, then one day you will need help and you will not have help.
That's it. Very well said. Now, in terms of policy, I don't want to get too deep, but what's the difference between policies they have set for Haiti and policies they have for other countries? Because one of the interviews that I saw a Haitian man, they said we're gonna wrap up. He said that they kept his wife, right? His wife is Colombian. They kept the wife, but yet he wasn't. All right. So what happened there? Are you familiar with that?
Um, like everything that's run by humans, you're gonna find discrepancies. Idealistically, there should be one immigration policy for all immigrants coming into the United States. That's idealistically.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, immigration policy many times is um, adjusted with the relationship that the US has with a country. For example, the US is very much against the regime in Cuba. So they welcome all Cubans in the United States because they are anti-Cuban government.
Mm-hmm.
It is a positive thing for them to welcome those people because then those are less Cubans that they have to deal with under the Castro regime. Then so that the policy is shaped by America's relationship with different countries. And then unfortunately, the reality is race does still play a role in immigration here, and you still have to deal with that immigrants versus non-black immigrants. As much as America has had turmoil with Afghanistan and Afghanis over the last 15-20 years, we still saw that when refugees from Afghanistan wanted to come to the US after the US left their country, they were received with open arms by the government. Maybe not by all Americans, but by the government.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, that's because part of it was they are non-black um, refugees. But what I urge all Haitian Americans to do is that if you look at our data as Haitian Americans, we produce high numbers of college graduates, have high medium incomes, we vote often in election, we very much contribute to the development and the betterment of this country. And I think it's very important that we start to push our weight around and that we start giving pressure to our elected officials to support what we want and what we want to see happen in terms of America's policy towards Haiti and how America treats Haitians. Because we are very we're once we've become American citizens, and people like myself who are second generation Haitian American, so I was born here in the United States. Once I'm established here in the country, and I'm a good citizen, and I am an active participant in my community, I have every right to demand certain things of my government. And I think because we're not used to doing that in Haiti, not part of our political structure in Haiti, that is not how things are done in Haiti. I feel like Haitian Americans are reluctant to use their power here as American citizens to push things and make things happen the way they want. So I urge all Haitian Americans to do that, because this is our opportunity to show people like the Democratic Party and other groups that we are very large supporters of, that listen, you want us to vote for you in the midterm elections, you want us to support you in the next election, well, you need to support our people, you need to protect our people, because if you hurt our Haitian people, Haitian Americans will not support you, will not support this political party, will not do X, will not do Z. So it's very important now that as much as we are Haitian, that as Haitian Americans who have all the privileges and rights under the United States of America flag, that we exercise those rights and that we push who we need to push to protect our people and our cousins and our brethren that are back home, because I
Well,
think Americans forget often that they are all immigrants. Only the Native Americans that are not immigrants to this land. From every English person, every African person, every European person is an immigrant here in the United States. Therefore, we all have a right to be here. All of us have a right to be here because this country was founded for immigrants.
okay, great. But one thing is, when they want to be elected, they say one thing, but once in office, it's a total different ball game. Now,
People
is
only,
this
Pastor Sarah, and it's important that we make this point. People only do what you make them do. Period. When you're a politician, they're
Mhm.
not going to do it for fun and because it's the right thing to do. They're going to do it
True.
because they have to. So we have to force them to.
Right, right. Apply pressure, applied pressure.
Yes.
Is it, are we in this by ourselves? And I'm closing right now. Est-ce que nous na lutte ça, na fight ça pour contre nous? Because quite frankly, I feel like we're in this by ourselves. No,
Oh,
I mean, you know,
Bruce is speaking, Pastor Sarah.
I think he's trying to, but his mic is probably giving the statics. But do you feel like we're in this by ourselves?
No. Today, Congressman Wolf had a press conference, and African American elected, we had Jamaican elected officials, we have leaders, the Jamaican community, from the Caribbean community, from the African American, the Jewish community, the Afghan community, all supporting us. All of them seeing the inhumane treatment of us as a community, and they're but
Okay.
now to not just talk, so in action. So also for helping us put the administrative Biden administration into action.
Good, good. That's good to know. That's absolutely good to know. I think we're gonna wrap up. Unfortunately, Bruce, we can't hear you, but it's good to know that we have other people. Because quite frankly, whoever, whatever nationality or people you are, when you see this, it's a heart wrenching. With
Thank you,
this,
Pastor Sarah, for having us.
welcome. So with this, we're gonna wrap up. Thank you so much. I'm sorry it did not really work. The technology is not working on Bruce and my end, a little bit on your end. But he's trying. But everybody, thank you so much for being with us again, Cindy. I really appreciate you. Bruce, we gotta bring you back when things are better. I would love to have you back. Same thing for Miss Dorfenville, and hopefully it will be better. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you. God bless you and be well. Be safe. Thank you for all you do for the Haitian community, Miss Dorfenville. We appreciate you. God bless you. Tomorrow morning, you guys, I hope to see you. Technology permits. Okay, let's pray. All right. God bless you guys. You have a wonderful night. Thank you
Good
so much for being with us. Good night. Thank you.